What's up guys, Jacob with TonalChemist Audio here. This video I'm going to show you how I stay organized when I produce music. This is a pretty niched video, so you probably searched for something like this. I'm going to try to keep this as value packed and as short as I possibly can for you. So the first thing that I do whenever I am writing a new song or I get files from a client and I'm ready to mix and master, I want to make sure that everything is completely organized right up front. So in this case, I'm working, or I still am working with a band. I just finished up their master for a band called Skrike in the UK. And they basically came to me and said, okay, we have this 5-song EP. This is our first EP, mix and master for me. I was like, all right. And as you can imagine, 5 songs is not a huge like 12-song album, but 5 songs can easily get disorganized pretty quick, especially when we're running up to over 250 tracks. So this is how I start by organizing it. First, I want to drag in all of my files and one by one into each song. So basically I have a folder, as you can see here, for each song. And I'm not going to play any of these songs for you because it's still under NDA at this moment in time. But I am showing you how I do it. So I have all these folders for these songs, right? And inside of these folders, I have all of the files that were sent to me. So I have all the drums under one folder, so I can collapse the drums just like this, right? And then I have all the bass in this folder, and I can collapse it like this. And also, sometimes these folders act as buses as well. Just keep that in mind. So for instance, like this bass folder is actually a bass bus. And same thing with guitars. So I have a guitar folder, which you can collapse, but let me make this bigger for you so you can like understand better. No, that probably doesn't do anything for you because it didn't even make the text bigger. But anyways, you have your bass with the guitars, you have rhythm guitars, you have lead guitars, and you have clean guitars. So what I do is I make a bus for rhythm, for lead, and for clean, and I put them all under the guitars folder. So then I can collapse all the guitars like that, and then I make one for samples, effects, and Vox. So as you can see here, I have the song Jekyll and Hyde, and I have the drums, bass, guitar, samples, effects, and Vox all neatly, tightly organized. This may seem like it is overkill, but I can promise you this is the most efficient way to do it. It's going to be a terrible experience for you if you just drag in all of the stems or you start writing randomly in your DAW. Speaking about writing randomly in your DAW, if you want a session that is set up like this, just like this from the start, go down the link in the description. You can grab my Reaper templates. I have a template for writing your songs, mixing your songs, and mastering your songs. So you can get a session that looks exactly like this, so you don't have to build it yourself completely for free. So go down in the description and download it right now. But to carry on, I basically did that for each song. So Jekyll and Hyde is one song. Waiting for the Light is another song, and as you can see, it has all of the corresponding files inside of here. And each song from there on out is literally doing the same thing. So I can open Death of an Angel, and I can close it. So I'm saving a lot of real estate on my screen, right? Same thing for this, right? You probably understand the point by now. So I think I'm the only person that has this like debate. Like, is it better to mix each song individually in its own project session? So for instance, like if I opened a new project tab, like is it best to have one song in here and then another song in this project tab? Or is it best to mix all of the songs on one project? Well, I will tell you this, it probably depends on your computer. If your computer is not very fast, it might be pretty difficult to stack an entire EP or album inside of one session. But if you have a PC that's more capable, I would definitely say by now, because I've done this enough times, that putting an entire EP or an album in one project session is going to be much easier to stay organized with in the long run, because you're able to reference one song to the next song to the next song to the next song right off the bat without having to switch through projects. So it's more seamless for your ears. It might be more like CPU heavy or whatever for your computer, but it's less ear heavy. So that's the way I like to do it. And I like to time align them. So however, like, let's say you're doing a 7-10 song album, however you want your album to flow from like first song to last song, I put them in that order on my DAW. So then I can mix accordingly to how I want the songs to flow, right? If there's like a certain part where I want it to be different than the next part in the next song, but I want them to flow evenly, it's going to be easier to mix the entire album as one big giant project. So the way I do this is I literally line them up. So you'll see Jekyll and Hyde, like all of the tracks are in this one area. And what I do is I create a region for each of that area. So you can see like the file starts from here and ends right here. So what I do is, like, for instance, if this was a song right here, you just highlight the song and then you right click and then you create region from selection and then you name the song. So it'd be like test song. So that way, when you go to export later, instead of having to like manually drag your mouse and find like the exact bar, you can literally just double click in here and you can boom, export this, export this, export this, export this. Makes it a lot easier to export when you're getting ready to export. So you can see that I have Jekyll and Hyde right here. And then if we scroll down to the next song, you can see that the next song comes in on this region, right? So and then here's all the files for the next song, and so on and so forth. So this is the most efficient way I've found to mix. Just to like recap, I put every song's files into a folder, and then I separate all the files into buses and folders for specific instruments. I create regions for the song, and I line them up in order of how you would want your album to sound like if you just pressed play on Spotify. And that's basically how I keep my mixing organized in like a high level overview. I hope I'm providing value to you so far, and I hope that you're learning something, because it took me like freaking like 5 years to figure out this. So I hope it's like giving you 5 years in time back right now. So the next thing is mastering stage. So I'm in my mastering session, and this is also like a debated topic. Like, should you master inside of your mix project? Like, should you master in here, just put a mastering chain on your master bus on your mix, or should you export into a different project? In my opinion, it's way better to export into a separate project, because it makes you commit to the mix. I'm a big fan of committing to the mix. So like if I say, okay, my mix sounds great, I export it, I want to be done with mixing and I want to focus on mastering. So what I do on here is basically the same thing, except I'm working with fully processed mix files, right? So I create regions for every song in order. So song 1, song 2, song 3, song 4, song 5. And in here, I have different folders with the different mastered versions that I want to export. So for instance, these are like the basic mastering versions that you should probably have for you and your band. Your full version, which would be your full production instrumental with vocals. Your instrumental version, your drums only, bass only, rhythm guitar only, lead guitar, clean guitar only, samples only, effects only, and vocals only. And the reason why we have different versions of our masters is because these can help you play live a lot. For instance, I assume that you're probably going to use samples and you're probably going to use effects, but you can't play that live with your instruments because it's like post-production stuff. So what you want to do is you want to make mastered exports of your samples so that you can load it up into your live sessions when you're actually like going to play a gig, so that you can still have the same power of your mix live as you would as like on playback. So that's huge. And back to what I was saying. So full versions, I have them all lined up just like this. So picture the mix philosophy that I just showed you, and you just do the same for master. So you export the Jekyll and Hyde mix, and then you put it in here, and then you master it, and then you do that for all of these. And for instrumental versions, you obviously export just the instrumental. So you would go back to mix and you literally just mute the vocals. That's literally, unless you want to do like something different for instrumental only. But typically it's as simple as you just literally press mute on the vocals and then boom, you have an instrumental version. So that's basically it. I think I covered everything. And of course, when you have it like this, it's easy to export your mastered versions because you can literally just double click in here, file, render, and boom, you got your versions. So, last thing for here is you can either use a master chain bus, or you can just put your master chain on your master track. I do both. Sometimes I use a master chain, sometimes I don't. It just depends on kind of like the workflow I'm in. But yeah, I think that's about it. If you have any questions about this, you can leave a comment down below. I'll answer every single comment. And if you're interested in working with me and your stuff is completely disorganized and you just want someone to come in and make it work and make it sound great the first time, then consider hiring me for my services. And yeah, I will see you in the next video.